Step out of the circle of time and into the circle of love. We have joy. We have friends. We are so grateful for the love that won't end. Step out of the circle of time and into the circle of faith. Step out of the circle of time and into the circle of faith. We have joy. We have friends. We are so grateful.
Good morning and welcome to CSLDallas. We're so glad that you are joining us today. Check in on Facebook to let us know that you're with us today, and also we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where there is spiritual content added throughout the week just for you. CSLDallas is a special place to call your spiritual home because we are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, and all about transforming lives. It's a new month, which means we have a new theme, Holy, Holy Uprising. As a leading-edge spiritual organization, not the best-kept secret, we are poised with the teaching and tools to take humanity into a new paradigm of consciousness. We are invited to demonstrate this in our lives, our centers, our communities, and in the world. And to do this, we must rise up. CSLDallas has many wonderful opportunities for our community to meet in small groups. Our circles of life, sanghas, home study groups, and other small gatherings offer opportunities for companionship, raised consciousness, and transformation. If you're ready to join one of our small groups, please contact Reverend Patty. Now, we are 1 week away from welcoming you back to our spiritual home. But there's still lots of work to do. And so we will need all hands on deck to get everything back into tip-top shape. There will be music, food, and drinks. So please register for one of our restoration work projects on July 10th or July 11th via the website. And reach out to Brianna if you don't have access to the website. Finally, at CSLDallas, we teach and practice the spiritual laws of prosperity. Thank you to all our generous givers, tithers, and pledgers for making this live stream possible. For everyone online today, here are a few ways to give. Donate on Facebook, donate at csldallas.org, or text give by texting 972-954-4404. Thank you for your generous support.
Spirit and I are one. 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 Holy, 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 holy,
Go within with me today. Breathing into the oneness that is Spirit. Spirit flowing in as and through each and every person, each and every animal, each and every rock and element. Knowing that there is only one consciousness, only one being. And breathing into that truth, I recognize that as we move in, move up, move out into the spirit consciousness that each of us is, there is greater love, there is greater peace, there is greater joy, greater wisdom. So as we breathe this in, knowing that there is only this oneness, and that Spirit and I, Spirit and you are one together, we know that this is the eternal ultimate truth. And breathing that in together today, we affirm this by saying, and so it is.
Spirit and I are one. 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 Holy, 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 holy,
Spirit and I are one. That which is united in the one. So happy 4th of July, speaking of united. Today we celebrate our American independence. So here's to freedom. I want to share this quote by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. He says, "As never before, our thoughts, our meditations, our hopes, and our prayers must rise in one accord. And you and I should form the habit of taking definite time each day to pray for peace with justice. For there is no peace possible without justice. We should take time each day to pray, to know, and to meditate on the thought, and to meditate affirmatively with complete acceptance that our leaders everywhere are being guided by the all-sustaining wisdom and upheld by the all-sustaining power of good. And we should pray for the peace in our own minds, that we shall not become confused. I also want to share on this celebratory, auspicious, and a day of a vision that was cast, a vision that was fought for, a vision that was signed, sealed, and delivered in 1776, a prayer from Dr. Ernest Holmes, because believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America and the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression, he offered this prayer up. So I invite you to be this prayer, to hold this prayer, and to know this prayer right now. I know that divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guides its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are the gifts of freedom and are the divine heritage of everyone in this country. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are now operating in the affairs of every individual in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country, causing it to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual self-expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind of God contains the answers to every problem which confronts this country. And I know that every leader in this country is now directed to this all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem, and each is compelled to act upon this knowledge to the end that abundance, security, and peace shall surely come to all. And I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure. I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. And so it is. Happy 4th, everyone.
That I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm relieved. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. Sweet rain that washes me free. sweet rain that washes me clean. The mind that creates all things, into my life it brings. Sweet rain that washes me clean. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
All right, don't go anywhere, Oscar. Hey, everybody. So I'm using your microphone, Lainey. Is that all right? Okay, everybody. I just want to officially welcome our new music director, Kirby Welch. We are excited that he's here with us. And it was pointed out and occurred to me, look how amazing this is. We have 3 music directors, former music directors, right here as our music team today to launch him. So I just want to thank you, Lainey Bernstein. Oh my gosh, you've been the rock in our music ministry, right, for years and years and years and years, and she's still staying on as our assistant music director. And Oscar, as we know, is staying but releasing the position so that we can welcome Kirby. He has tremendous background. He has a depth of knowledge and experience and all kinds of musical instruments, and he's bringing his passion and his creativity to CSLDallas in a new, expressive way. And Kirby, just like everybody before him, Michael and Courtney and Lainey and Oscar, he's going to grow into his position. So lift him up, hold the consciousness, welcome him, especially when you see him next week if you happen to be here in person. And we're excited, Kirby, that you said your sacred yes. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And now we're going to welcome the amazing, powerful Dr. Tracy Brown. And if you didn't get the email that I sent out, we will be officially celebrating that doctorship in January after she gets hooded with her doctor. So, Tracy, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness, I am so glad that I get to kick off this month of July theme. This whole idea of being holy, and that there's such a thing as a holy uprising. I just want to talk about that a little bit before diving into the theme for today, or the talk title for today. So what does holy uprising mean? Holy, number one, with the WH, if you look it up in the dictionary, it actually just means entirely or fully. It means that it is complete, and our focus, our attention is completely just absorbed. Holy with the H means dedicated or consecrated to God. It means there's a religious purpose. And a word that I love to use when I think about holy with an H is just the word sacred. So we've got holy uprising. Now, when I first saw that, I thought, wait a minute, wait. It's holy, complete, and it's sacred. And uprising, because it means revolt or rebel or an act of resistance, I'm like, wait a minute, those two things don't really quite match, do they? And then I thought about it more. There is nothing more important than us to use our spiritual tools and to change the world from that place grounded in the sacred to create a better world. So now I'm really excited that for the entire month of July, we get to focus on being wholly committed to uprising. And why wouldn't we be that way? We're CSLDallas. Our 2021 theme is Together We Rise. So we are having an uprising so that we can rise together and live our lives fully guided by Spirit in a holy, holy way. I mean, think about it. Would your life be different if you really believed that everything is holy now? Would you experience things differently if you had the full belief that Spirit is everywhere and in all things? The fullness of Spirit is in you? What about your experience might change if you recognize that everything that you do and everything that happens is answered prayer? That would make a huge, huge difference. And you don't have to be a mystic to live in a holy, holy way. All you have to do is be a person, a regular person, like me and Karen and Carol and Joe, simply committed to apply deep faith in everything you do and to walk through your life with clarity and with conviction. And when we do that, we are actually living in a holy, holy way, and we are creating an uprising. We are creating change in life, and that is what makes our life an adventure. So the topic for today is this adventure called life. And I don't know. Adventure can be exciting. Adventure can be scary. Adventure can be fulfilling. Adventure can be like really busy. And adventure can be super peaceful, depending on what you are doing. Adventure is what our human experience is, right? In our human experience, all we do is move from condition to condition to condition to condition. We're moving through an adventure that is conditions changing. An adventure of spirit expressing life, and as many of you have heard me say so many times, expressing life, expanding life, and evolving life in, as, and through me, in, as, and through each one of us. So the human journey is simply an adventure in life. That's all it is. And in religious science, or in the science of mind and in Centers for Spiritual Living, what we have committed to and what we teach and what we practice is that we navigate this adventure of life with clarity, with consciousness, by making choices. That's the only difference between us and maybe other people we know, that we consciously choose what we want and create. And we, as we are doing this conscious choosing, we are simply going for clarity. We are getting clear about what works for us. We are getting clear about what we want to accomplish. We are getting clear about how we want to show up in the world. We are getting clear about who we want to be and how we want to be. And that's what spiritual principle is teaching us. So if I'm going to navigate this adventure called life consciously, I get to remember that I'm always at choice. Always, always, always at choice. I don't choose everything that happens to me, but I do get to choose how I respond to it. Now, Ernest Holmes reminds us that this moving through life and this desire to have a better life is something that is a natural impulse. It is not limited only to people who are in centers for spiritual living. But here is how he talked about it. He wrote, "There is an inner urge in our minds to grow, to expand, to break down the barriers of previous limitations, and to ever widen our experience. This persistent urge is a divine influence, and it's an irresistible force. It constitutes the greatest impulse in human experience." So whether we're consciously doing it or not, the impulse of life itself is to grow, is to change, is to expand. We just get to choose to expand consciously, but it's happening whether we're conscious of it or not. Just like the acorn must grow into an oak tree, just like the caterpillar is going to become a butterfly, our lives and our humanity is constantly seeking to express and to expand into its next expression. But we get to help shape that expression. So I'm curious. As you are shaping your expression of this adventure of life, are you creating a life in prison, or are you creating a life in paradise? Are you creating a life in prison, or are you creating a life in paradise? We get to help shape our adventure. A few weeks ago, I was in a spiritual coaching session with someone, and he was very, very interesting to me because he came in saying he was ready for his life to be very different from the way it was now. And as we talked about what is it that would make his life in his own mind successful or good, what would joy look like and feel like, and what kind of people did he want to have around him? He could describe much of that. At the same time, he would then repeat or say right after that, "Oh, but that'll never happen." Or, yeah, it'd be really great if this were to be, that's what I see could happen, but I don't know, that might happen for you, but it won't happen for me. Nothing ever works out for me, actually, was what he said. I'm afraid to believe in that because it'll just get taken away from me. We talked about his work and his career, and he said, well, I really like this kind of work, but I don't think I could ever make money, and I have bills to pay. And literally every 5 or 6 minutes, he would talk about something positive, and then he would shift and talk about how that couldn't happen. And the reality is that the universe simply says yes. So even though he had ideas of what he would like his life to be, he had stronger beliefs that it could not be that way. He, in my mind, is an example of someone living in prison. Not the prison that is owned by or run by the state or contracted by the federal government to lock people into a building with a very strict regime or pattern and a lot of restrictions. He was living a life. He was living this adventure of life in a prison of his own making. A prison with restrictions that he created, that he believed in, and that he was fighting for. a lot of us refer to that as, people arguing for their limitations. And we all do it sometimes. We all forget that we can create something bigger, that we can create something larger. We forget that. And we end up having an adventure of life that is an adventure in prison, and it shrinks us and it makes us feel smaller and smaller until we believe it, and no one else ever has to do or say anything to keep us small. On the other hand, maybe because it is 4th of July, literally, and Independence Weekend, I think about people I know and people I don't know, who have chosen to live their life in paradise, to create a life in paradise. And for me, I'll be honest, I have a lot of conflicts with the 4th of July, because I'm so proud of the forefathers who were strong enough, courageous enough, who were grounded enough to say, we will not live under these restrictions, and there is a freedom that is our birthright, and we will give our lives to it if we need to. What a beautiful message and example. At the same time, as a woman of African descent, I know that that intention may have been meant for all, but was not lived in a way in this country that made my direct ancestors experience that freedom. And so I have some conflicts that every year I work through. And not from a sense of anger, but from the sense of, really, I have ancestors who, despite the physical limitations, despite the societal limitations, said, no one can give me or take away my freedom. I choose to live my life in paradise as a mindset, as a representation of spirituality, that my life is a gift of the divine, and whatever the physical limitations, I still get to choose. And so in that sense, then I am reminded that a life in paradise, life as an adventure in paradise, has nothing to do with the laws, has nothing to do with my neighbor, has nothing to do with whether the technology is working or not. It has nothing to do with anything outside of myself, that I am the one who gets to choose whether I live a life in paradise or not. And the quote that comes to me when I think about that is the Albert Einstein quote. The Albert Einstein quote, where he wrote, "There are two ways to live your life. One way is as though nothing is a miracle. The other way is as though everything is a miracle." Two ways to live your life: in prison or in paradise. In prison, where nothing is a miracle. In paradise, where everything is a miracle. And when you live your life as if everything is a miracle, then it is really easy to remember everywhere you go and everything you experience is holy right now. So, I don't know, Kirby and Lainey, everything is holy now, yes?
Yes.
When I was a girl each week, Sunday we would go to
consecrate the holy bread, everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle.
Everything, everything, everything is holy. Everything, everything, everything is miracle.
Wine from water is not so small, but an even greater magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. Holy water was rare at best. It barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath, 'cause I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate hand me down. But now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now.
Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. Well, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird, shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out. Oh, things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now.
Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now.
Yeah, everything is holy now. The lyrics in that song are so on track and so powerful and so great a reminder for us that it really is up to us. The adventure of life is gifted to every one of us. Every thing that is created has received the gift of life. But just for today, as we think about in the human experience, the gift of life is gifted to us, and we are gifted with choice. We can unconsciously go through life, and the spiritual laws and the physical laws are all working. Gravity does not care if we are conscious of it or not. It is going to work. Spiritual law is the same way. But those of us who have been studying and teaching and practicing science of mind, we know that we can consciously put ourselves in alignment with what spiritual law is doing anyway. And it really does become our choice whether our life is an adventure in prison or an adventure in paradise. The Bible talks about this as above, so below. We can think about the fact that we know wherever I live or wherever I travel, there I am. So I get to make some choices about that. Whether I'm in line in a bank to withdraw money from my savings or whether I am sitting in bankruptcy court, I get to choose how I have that experience. If I am the teacher or I am the student, I still get to choose how I have that experience. If I'm laying on my bed taking a leisurely Sunday afternoon nap, or if I'm laying on the surgical table having a major organ transplant, I still get to choose. Is my life an adventure in prison because all these things are happening to me and I'm a victim of it? Or do I get to choose that my life is a life in paradise where I'm exploring and there's an adventure and it's exciting and I get to create and I know that whatever's going on, it's good or it's leading to good? That takes a belief that is so deeply embedded that nothing can move me away from it. You see, a life in prison happens over and over because we tell ourselves it's bad or we're weak or we don't have what we need or there's not enough or the world is my enemy or I live in an unfriendly universe. And a life in paradise comes because we give ourselves the opposite message over and over and over again. This morning before I left the house, I was getting ready, and I was thinking about, I can't wait, because I knew that I was going to get to the point of my life is I'm choosing a life in paradise. And I looked down on the counter, and I saw this spray. And it said, the fragrance that I had chosen when I bought this, the fragrance is paradise. And so I was like, oh, okay. Let's have an adventure in paradise. And I went to the bedroom and I was like, we're going to have an adventure in paradise. And I went in the kitchen and I said, we're going to have an adventure in paradise. And then, of course, I'm laughing, just like I hope you're laughing. But I thought about it. It's like having my life be an adventure in paradise is not, on some ways, it's not as easy as just spraying paradise. On the other hand, it's exactly like spraying paradise everywhere I go, spraying paradise all around me from the inside out, insisting that everywhere I go, I'm carrying my own can of paradise with me. I don't care what you're carrying. I don't care what you're carrying. I've got a life in paradise. Michael Bernard Beckwith did a talk a few years ago, and it was titled Adventure in Paradise. And it was later used as the foundation for a song. And it happens to be the song that is my ringtone. And in this song, Michael Beckwith says, I'm taking an adventure in paradise. And guess what? I'm taking you with me. I'm taking an adventure in paradise. And guess what? I'm taking you with me. So I invite you to choose. Do you want to live your life as an adventure in prison or as an adventure in paradise? And if you, like me, want to live your life, choose to live your life, will commit to living your life as an adventure in paradise, then I invite you to join me in prayer. Breathing and smelling the mist of paradise, I know that there is only one infinite intelligence operating at all times. It is operating right here and right now. Its wisdom, its joy, its beauty, all have purpose. And everything it creates from itself, meaning that everything it creates, all plants, all animals, all of nature, and all of humanity has been created from itself, from its good, from the original paradise. So my life is simply an expression of the perfect paradise in a unique way. And I claim and declare in this moment that I recognize and I accept the responsibility for living my life as an adventure in paradise. No matter what is happening, no matter what others choose, no matter what others put in my pathway, I choose to navigate it, understanding that it is my choice to see it, to experience it, to feel it, and to know it is either good or leading to good. Knowing that it is holy, holy. And I get to create an uprising in, as, and through my spirit that rises me up above any barrier, any challenge, and takes me into an ascended consciousness that I can experience only as paradise. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for knowing the science of mind principles and applying them in my life. I'm so grateful for knowing every word I speak in this moment is true for everyone within the sound of my voice who chooses to believe it and to commit to it. And I am so grateful to begin right here and right now to rise together with everyone else connected to CSLDallas and Centers for Spiritual Living as we move forward this month and always, demonstrating independence and freedom, love, joy, and peace. I release into spiritual activity knowing it can only return fully manifested in the perfect way that represents Spirit's highest vision. I let it be. I let it be. Ashe. Aho. Amen. And so it is.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. We are so lucky to have you light the light and lead us in our way to choosing a life that is an adventure in paradise. Thank you so much. We have some great new workshops and courses for you. I want to tell you about a couple of them. How about the parable of the sower? Using the novel written by Octavia Butler as the guide, the Parable of the Sower book study will explore the challenge of applying spiritual principles during times of change, disruption, and transformation. And guess what? It's led by our very own licensed practitioner, Dr. Tracy Brown. So if you'd like to have some more of her uplifting leadership in your spiritual life, this is your opportunity. You learn how to apply the metaphysical principles we teach in Science of Mind to the changes and challenges we face in today's society. Register for the Parable of the Sower Book Club today on the website. It starts on July 10th. Spiritual fitness. This is led by licensed practitioner Doreen Breedlove, who will give you the tools to rediscover the real meaning of life by connecting to and trusting in a greater power that is constantly guiding us. Spiritual fitness happens on July 13th, and you can get all the details on our website. And the Gong meditation. This is a powerful sacred sound journey. If you're ready to take your meditation practice to a deeper level, we invite you to join us for a powerful gong meditation with symphonic gongs, singing bowls, and other unique instruments. This easy and fun event is led by Barbara Cole Salmeron. It happens on July 17th and is appropriate for all age and experience levels. Learn more and register at CSLDallas.org. And you today can get your affirmative prayer going right after this. Join our licensed spiritual coaches in a private one-on-one Zoom room. The link is right there on our chat feed. Now, let's end this celebration today by singing together, I Release.
It's love enough, but that's it.
All right. Let's sing that one.
And minds as one. Our journey here has just begun. The path has been made clear for all who gather here. With open arms, our hearts embrace. The spirit here is held in place. The circle never ends. For you and me, my friend, and there is